get on to it today. Okay, everybody, you're welcome again. I'm happy to be your host today again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining in from. I'm excited to welcome you on today's conversation, the standout conversation with Chigozie George. So, wherever you are, it's gonna be an amazing, amazing time. So, like we always do, we're just gonna get 30 seconds to let people come in, to let people join in. So I invite you to please share and invite your friends, and let's partake in today's program together. You know, it's always exciting. You know, it's always interesting conversations that we have. So, 30 seconds quickly, invite somebody, share, and let someone join in the conversation today. I'm excited to welcome you on the standout conversation with Chigozie George today. So, quickly, 30 seconds, counting. Let's go. Share and invite somebody. Great. Yes. Keep sharing, keep sharing. I'm also sharing and invite someone to be part of the conversation today. Good. Great. 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 Okay. You can follow us on Facebook and YouTube for today. Instagram is unfortunately not working in Turkey yet, and we're following the rules. We're not trying to VPN through it. We're waiting for the government to open up YouTube, so I mean Facebook, so I mean Instagram rather, so that we can continue to use it again. So I just want you to bear with us momentarily, and we'll be back on Instagram. But for now, you can follow us on you can watch on YouTube, you can watch on Facebook, and you can invite your friends to be part of it. As you know, today I said I'm going to talk about seven life changing lessons that I have learned from interviewing seven leaders and seven high flying people. In this conversation, I host and have conversation with leaders from different spheres of life, leaders and high flying people from different spheres of life, people that are doing exceptionally well in their career, people that have conquered their world, people that are conquered the areas that they are involved in. And I have learned a great deal of lesson interviewing these people. And that's what I want to share with you today. So, seven lessons, seven life changing lessons that I have learned from my interview with seven great leaders. I've interviewed more than seven leaders, I've interviewed more than seven high flying people in this standout conversation. And I have several lessons that I have learned from them, but I'm just going to pick out seven of the lessons that I believe is going to be impactful for you today. I want to tell you, you've got someone that you know needs to be part of this conversation. Go ahead and invite somebody. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful session today. So one more time, I encourage you, go ahead and invite somebody on Facebook. Go ahead and invite somebody on YouTube. Share it and help me reach out to people. Thank you, thank you, thank you as you go on. Thank you as you share it. Okay, we getting ready. We getting ready. We getting ready. Yes, we getting ready. We getting ready. Okay. I hope your day was good. My week, I learned something. I learned something. Yes, I live in Turkey, but I'm proud to say I go to church every Sunday, and I do enjoy it. I learned something from one of our PhD students a couple of years ago, and she said when people ask you, "How are you?" don't always say, "Oh, I'm fine." He said you can be real and say, "Oh, this week was not the best, but I hope next week will be better." You can say, "Oh, this week was okay, but I hope this coming week will be wonderful." You can say things like that, you know. And then one of the things I also figured out is that most people, when you ask them or when they ask you, "How are you?" they're not really listening to find out how you are really doing. They're not really listening to find out how you are doing. So the first thing I want to say to you, not the first lesson I want to share with you from all the people I've interviewed. The first thing I want to say to you is, when you ask people how are you, why don't you take time to listen to find out how people are doing? Listen and find out how people are doing. Don't just say how are you and abandon it. And just because it's how would I put it, cultural, or it's an expectation that you say hello to people in the morning, or you say how are you when you meet them. No, genuinely care to find out how people are doing. That's important. And I've come to realize that when we genuinely ask people, how are you, and listen to them, it's a, it's sort of breath of fresh air for them to know that someone cares about them, to know that someone is listening. So if you're someone's manager, if you're up there and you're someone's manager, if you're up there, you're a general manager, you're a CEO, even the people down in your office, the people at the gate, people at the entrance, the security guards, the people at the eating place, the cooks, you can literally just say, how are you? And listen for a moment and let them tell you, oh, my day is okay. My day was, you could look at the expression on their face and try to guess what's up with them. And you will be surprised how that will change their world. So let me quickly get into it today. Number one lesson that I have learned from interviewing high value people. The number one lesson I've learned from interviewing high value people on the conversation, on this standout conversation, is you need people. You need people. Almost every manager, human resource person, CEO that I have spoken to, that I have had conversation with here, emphasizes the importance of learning how to work with people. Almost and every one of them, every person I have spoken to on this conversation emphasizes on the need to learn how to work with people. It doesn't matter how good a worker you are. It doesn't matter how smart a person you are. It doesn't matter how intelligent a person you are. It doesn't matter. Teamwork will always produce a better and a more effective goal than a lone worker. The company is successful. Your life is more successful if you learn to work with people. This is the thing that I have heard, and this is the thing that I have learned, and I have seen every leader, every leader, every high flying person that I know, that I have interviewed, and that is successful in their field continues to emphasize the need for you to learn how to work with people. In my book, The People on the Way of Destiny, I wrote something and I said, I wrote something and I said, nothing great survives alone. Nothing great survives alone. As an individual, you can do good things. But if you want to do great things, you must move forward to learn how to work with a team. You must learn how to be a team player. Talent is good. Talent is important. It is exceptional to have talent, but talent is not enough. My favorite footballer is always Ronaldo, and those around me will know. Not because I think he's more skillful than Lionel Messi. I don't think he is. No. But because he has done exceptionally well in every team he has played. He has done exceptionally well in every team he has played. That I feel personally he is an example of talent is not enough. He works hard and he's a team player. He gets involved with his team. So I just want to say to you, just as every person on this show has emphasized, you can go far on your own, but you can go further when you work with a team. You can succeed on your own, but you'll be more successful when you work with a team. You can have you can have joy on your own, but you can be more joyful when you work and in a team. That's essential. That is something that all of us have got to learn. Your talent is good, but your talent is only as good as your team. Is only as good as the people you work with. The distance you can go in life is determined by the people you hang around with. That's how powerful people are. And you know, you can see how effective that is even in the union of marriage. Your joy, your happiness, everything around you is almost hanging on the person in your life. At work, at your workplace, the success of the team determines the strength, the success of the company determines is determined by the strength of the team, not just by individual abilities. It's individual abilities that make up a good team. Yes. But if those individual abilities, no matter how sharp they are, cannot come together and work together, goals will never be accomplished. Goals will never be accomplished. That's number one lesson I learned. So quickly, I said team players do better in accomplishing more goals than lone players. And number two lesson I have learned. This is a long question that people have always asked me personally, myself. When I do trainings and conferences, and talking about trainings and conferences. When I was in Nigeria, I used to do a lot of conferences, seminars, and in different topics. And I was having a conversation with a friend who was been my friend for 20 years plus this week. And he said to me, I haven't seen much of those conferences you used to do again. What happened? And it's like, you do not know how many lives aff- you affected, you influenced that period. Then I was just thinking about it. And it's like, you need to go back into doing those conferences and seminars that you used to do. So I just want to reach out. I just want to say to Samuel Ibalodge. So thank you for encouraging me to go back to it again. But all the time I had these conferences, whether they were for youth, for teenagers, or regardless of the age of the people, one question that, especially the teenagers and the youth, one question that people always ask me was a question you know, about loving what I do and doing what I love. And I had a conversation with an HR person last week, and she did touch on that also. And we all share the same thoughts, which is whatever you do right now, love it. Love what you do. That's my position on that. And that's the position of most of the people I have chatted with. Love what you do. If you love what you do and you give it your best, you will soon find out that you will be able to find yourself in positions where you begin to do what you love. Most of us start off with the things we don't love to do. Most of us begin our lives doing the things we don't love to do. Unfortunately, I do not. It's not. I wouldn't say unfortunately, but that's how we started with us. We started with doing the things that we did not love to do, did not want to do. It was not the things that we cannot say that these are the things we loved to do. No, but I learned one principle of whatever my hand finds to do, I do with all of my heart. Whatever my hand finds to do, I do with all of my heart. Whatever. And when I do with all of my heart, it means I do with all of my passion. Whatever my heart finds to do, I do with all of my passion. So, for some of you saying, "Oh, I don't love what I do. I don't love what I do. I want to do what I love." It starts from you loving what you do first. Okay, let me say this. If you don't love what you do, at least you love the money you get from it. And if you can't pour yourself into what is not yours, then you cannot pour yourself into what is yours as well. So we learn to pour ourselves into such things first. So for most of us, why we don't love the things we're doing right now is because, oh, it's not what I want for my life. It's not what I want for my life. It's not, yes, it's not what you want for your life, but it's what life has brought to you right now. It's what life has thrown in your direction right now. So your job at this moment is to love what you do. That's the requirement right now. Because the moment you begin to love what you do, your mindset about it is influenced. Your mindset around it is affected. Your thoughts line, your thoughts is affected. And I've always emphasized you are a product of what you think. So if you think negatively about what you do right now, you will never find joy in it. You will never love it. If you think negatively about what you do, if you think negatively right now about what you are doing, you will never love it. And and that means the chances of you even getting into the things you love is very low. So the principle is love what you do, then over time you will get to do what you love. So you might not love what you do right. You might not be doing what you do right now, but the onus is on you to love what you do. Number three lesson I have learned, and this one is okay. How do I put it? This one is super. This one is super. I don't know if you're ready for this. This one is super. Now, a lot of people focus on purpose, my vision, focus on, like we said, loving what they do or doing what they love, but someone said to me, these persons I've spoken to said to me that, see, commitment and consistency are two over so underrated. They are so underrated. Commitment and consistency, that they are underrated. And then in the reverse, they say that talent is overrated. Talent is overrated. Commitment and consistency are underrated. Never underrate the power of consistency. Never underrate the power of commitment. You will become what you are committed to. See, if there's anybody you should be scared of in life, it is that person who cannot be easily deterred from their goal. That person who, regardless of the storms, regardless of the difficulties that they face, that one person that keeps going is somebody you should be scared of. That person that in the fight will not throw in the towel. That's one person you should be scared about, scared of. Consistent and persistent people are the people that win the race. Consistent and persistent people are the people who succeed the most in life. It's not the most talented group of people that succeed. That's the reality. For those of you that watch football, again, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. These guys are talented. They're gifted. But I'm 1,000 times sure there are people all over the world. There are footballers all over the world, male and female, who are more gifted, who are more talented than them. There are footballers all over the world. There are who are better than Cristiano Ronaldo, but they are not committed. They lack commitment. They lack commitment. They lack consistency. They quit when they start. They quit things that they start. I've always known and believed here and there cannot make you prosperous, cannot make you successful, cannot give you, whether it is a spiritual growth, whether it's a financial growth, whether it's a relationship growth, whether it's relationships, stability, here and there can never give you the success you want. Take note of that. Here and there will never give you the success you want. If you want to be successful, if you want to go far in the things you're doing, you have got to learn to be consistent. You've got to learn to be committed. That's why I say commitment is underrated. Commitment is underrated. And so is consistency. In this time where there are so many things to shift your focus, it's like children. Today, when you look at a 10-year-old child, I have a 10-year-old niece. My niece is always changing what she wants to be. That's because she's still forming, you know, she's still forming her identity. Today she says, I want to be an artist. Tomorrow she says, I want to be an astronaut. Next tomorrow, I want to be a doctor. Next time she says, I want to go to Harvard. Next week she says, okay, it's not Harvard. I want to go to Nottingham University. Another week she says, oh, I don't want to go to Nottingham University. Maybe I'll go to a university in Nigeria. I've heard of Babcock. From next time she'll say, I don't want to go there. I want to go to, she had another university in Bilkent. She's always, and then she said, when I go there, I'm going to study this, I'm going to study this, I'm going to study this. That's acceptable for a child of that age. Yeah. But as an adult, it's not acceptable for you. Consistency. Be consistent in whatever field you have found yourself in. Pursue your goals. Pursue your goals. With all your heart, pursue your goals. Set a goal for yourself, pursue it. There's a you know there's this Japanese principle that I heard that you if you don't want to get tired, or if you procrastinate too much, you can't find consistency in what you're doing, the things you do. If it is daily chores or daily activities, do it for 25 minutes, get some rest, and keep going. So find a mechanism and structure that works for you when it comes to learning to be consistent in the things you do. I understand diversification, but you never diversify until you have defined your purpose. You don't diversify until you have defined your purpose. When you define your purpose, all diversifications of your company will address and meet your company purpose. All diversifications will fall in line with your company purpose. And the same as an individual. You can go into several things. Yes, you can. But that is after your identity and brand has been defined so that everybody knows, yes, this is who you are, this is your purpose, but these are channels through which you fulfill your purpose. Consistency. I was telling a group of people recently, and I said, listen, when you go to university and you stay there, study the same thing for 4 years, it's not just about the certificate you come out with. No, that's not it. It's not just about the certificate you come out with. It's a proof that you can do the same thing for 4 years consistently. That means that if anybody employs you, they can be sure that you can show them some level of commitment for 4 years in that place, or at least 3 years in that place. So you may have talent, but if you're not persistent, if you're not consistent, if you're easily discouraged, if you're easily wearied, you can never ever be a high flying person. You can never ever go up. You will always be a mid-level player. But with consistency, oh my, you going far. You going way, 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 way up there with consistency. I can bet you that. It's not the talent that wins the race, it's the consistency. It's a marathon. And in marathon, consistency is better consistency and persistence pays off more than speed. You can have the speed, but can you endure the race? You can have the speed, but can you endure the challenges? You can have the speed, but can you wait it out? It's those who wait it out that are crowned champions in their race. So the third thing that I have learned is that commitment and consistency are largely underrated, but talent is always overrated. I have seen a lot of talented people that are failures, but there are fewer number of people who are persistent and consistent who are failures. Fewer number of people, fewer number of people. So if you're persistent, if you're consistent, you are closer to being successful than you can even imagine. You are closer to being successful than you can even imagine. If you are consistent, if you are persistent, you are closer to being successful than you can imagine. Okay, okay, okay. Again, I want to encourage you to invite someone to be part of the conversation. Thank you all. Thank you. And like we said, you can always find us on. You can watch it on YouTube. You can invite someone on YouTube. You can invite someone on Facebook. It's always nice to share knowledge with somebody else. So let's get to number four. Number four. Okay, number four. I was speaking the first time someone mentioned this. It was, I'll say, a politician, and 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 he said that among all that he's learned, he said loyalty is essential, and he said you've got to be loyal to the right people. But he said at the same time, you've got to be loyal to your principle. And the two of the people that I spoke to that mentioned this were politicians and doing well in their own field. He said, you've got to be loyal to your principles, loyal to the right people, loyal to your principles. And that's why it's essential that when you work anywhere, you work with people whose principles align with your personal principle. Now, the question is, do you have personal principles? It's not what people do every day. It's what principles guide people every day. What principles guide people every day? That is something you have got to ask yourself. What principles guide people every day? What principle is guiding you? So when you know the principle guiding you, you need to align with people who share similar principles with you and show them loyalty. Now, loyalty is always two-way traffic. You can be loyal to the people up there above you. Those people above you are also expected to be loyal to you. If you're above someone and the person is showing you loyalty, the onus is on you. Every time that person needs you to show them loyalty, you show them loyalty. That's why every time my wife asks me, why do you love to watch this kind of movies? I'm like, these movies show loyalty so much. How important loyalty is. Be loyal to yourself, yes. Be loyal to your principles. People will change, but principles hardly change. People will change, but principles hardly change. So that's the number fourth. That's the number fourth thing. Loyalty. Show loyalty to people. And number five, I love this one now. I love this one. Money. If we didn't speak about money among the five things that we have, or the seven things that we have learned from interviewing people in this conversation, if we didn't speak about money, then what else are we talking about? Because come on, forget all the conversation and all the talk and all the inspirations we draw from people. We draw those inspirations so that we can eventually make some money to take care of ourselves and the people we love. And with money, we can leave better legacy. That's the truth. Then let no one fool you and say money is not important. Money is important. Don't let nobody tell you, oh, come on. I have seen people tell you, "Oh, don't put your money, don't put your how they put it, put your money up above where there are neither moths or things that eat it up, pu- things like that." But listen, a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. So money is important. We all work to make money to take care of ourselves and our loved ones. None of us will be happy to see our children live the life that is not pleasing. We want our kids happy. We want our wife happy. We want our daughters, we want our happy. So the question is, how do you become someone who attracts money to themselves? How do you become someone who is is on the verge, at least on the verge of making money? Because I know that some persons have made money, some persons are on the verge of making buck, and some persons might never make it. Not because they don't have it in them to make it, but because they just don't know the principles. They just don't know the principles or too lazy to stick with the principles. So one of the things I have learned is money flows in the direction of the needs you meet. Money is an exchange for value. No value, no money. No value, no money. What value do you bring? When companies downsize, I can tell you this wholeheartedly. When companies downsize, when companies want to let go of people, the first set of people that they look out to let go or to relieve of their job in the company, they ask themselves, who are those that are valuable to this company? If you don't contribute value to your company, you will be one of the first few people your company will let go. And let me say this to people who are who are very religious. Don't let the only value you bring to people's life be, I am praying for you. Don't. If the only value you bring to people's life is, I am praying for you, I can tell you, you are of little value to them. In a company, your presence cannot be the only value you bring. In your workplace, presence cannot be the only value you bring. You must be that person that every time they're thinking of, should we let you go or should we not let you go, they're thinking in their heart, we might be making a huge mistake letting this person go. That is where you should position yourself. We might be making a huge mistake letting this person go. In fact, not even we might, they should be able to say to themselves, we are making a mistake letting this person go. If you have a product or a service, it is the product and service that you serve to people that determines the amount of money that will come to you. It's only in politics that people do very little and get so much. It's only in politics that you see politicians don't serve. They are paid huge amount of money. They are paid so much amount of money, and they have nothing delivered to their constituencies. That's politics. But in real life, it does not work that way. So you got to understand that you need to be a valuable person. You need to be a person of value, someone contributing value. Money flows in the direction of value. My friend told me something some years ago, and he said, listen, it's not the money in your pocket that is your value now. It's what the bank thinks you are worth that is your value. The level of credit the bank is willing to give you, that's what the bank thinks you are. That's your worth, financially speaking. Financially speaking. So the bank sees you as a high value person. They give you a credit, knowing that you are worthy of it and that you are worth it. They don't mind. They know they can bank on you. They know they're not going to lose. So your company must be able to say, we can bank on you. Your family must be able to say, we can bank on you. Listen, people don't cut off high value people. If someone says, I'm going to cut you off my life, what they are saying to you indirectly is, you are not of value to me. If someone cuts you off their life, what they are saying is, you are not of value to me. So the onus is on you to go back and ask yourself, how can I become a person of value? Simple. That's see, I have learned something. If you have an argument between two people and you bring a third party to settle it, the argument is already tilted towards the person bringing in more value. If there's a fight between two people, if there's a fight if there's a fight between two countries, and US is brought in to settle that fight, the fight is already tilted towards the person where the US is getting more value from. So if you are in a company and there is a fight between you and somebody else in your company, listen to me, listen, take this to the bank. The fight is already tilted in favor of the person that is bringing more value to the company. Because money flows in the direction of value. And so favor also flows in the favor of men also flows in the direction of value. Take it to market, take it to the bank. The favor of men will flow in the direction of the ones bringing in more value to themselves. Human beings are emotional human beings. We are emotional beings. Human beings are it's how we are factory made. It's the lesson I have learned from the people I have, high flying people had conversation with. It's also a lesson I have learned personally. The more valuable, the more valuable you become as a person, the more money will come towards you. And to become a person of value, it's here first, in your mind, in your brain. Everything has to change. You have to walk into a place and say, what am I contributing here? You have to walk into your family and say, what am I bringing to the table? You have to look at your life and say, what am I bringing to the table? Now, if you're bringing nothing to the table, if you say to yourself, I'm bringing nothing to the table right now, you can tell yourself or ask yourself, what then can I bring to the table? There's always something you can bring to the table. There's always something you can bring to the table. I repeat myself, and I want you to take this home. If you're in an argument with two people, if you're in a fight with two people, and you bring in a third party to settle the fight, to settle the quarrel, listen, the fight is already tilted in the favor of the person who brings value. Take note. That's the reality. It's already tilted in the direction of the person bringing in more value. So become a person who brings value. Money flows in the direction of value. And the sixth lesson I have learned, I hope you're still with me. And I thank everyone who's joining us to watch wherever, whether you're joining us from France, from Congo, from the US, from the Bahamas, wherever you're joining us, we're happy that you are part of the conversation today. Now, I want to quickly say something else that I have learned. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. No one. It's your life. It's your fight. No one is coming to save you. No one abandons themselves to save others. Mm-mm. No one abandons themselves to save others. If you like, cry till tomorrow. You have to learn to dust yourself when you fail and move on with your life. See, I've learned something. You know, your failure is your failure. Believe me, your failure is your failure. And but your success is not your success. Your failure is your failure. Your success is not your success. Ever wondered the story of Jesus and the day he died, and they said that his closest friend, his closest guy, Peter, followed him from afar. In your darkest moments, the people who love you, the people who say they would die for you, the people who say we can go as far as anywhere with you, in your darkest moment, they will follow you from afar. Because the truth is, no one wants to get into the dust with you. No one wants to get into the dust with you. No one wants to get dirty with you in your mess. Let that sink in. Your failure is your failure, but your success is not your success. Your success is communal. Your success is family success. Your success is communal. Your success is national. You read the story of the Cameroonian boxer, Ngannou or something like that. You read his story, how he walked several, is it kilometers or miles from Libya, then found his way to France. He had to do it alone, with family thinking he was dead, he was never going to come back. But then he becomes successful. It's Cameroon's glory, it's Africa's glory. But at that moment in the desert when he's working, it is his life. No one was coming to save him. And you can also see this in the life of many Africans, especially Africans in Europe and France. Listen, as long as when you're down, no one's coming to save you. But the moment you do something worthwhile that is counted as success, come on, France will give you citizenship straight up, because everybody likes to associate themselves with something heroic, something successful, something empowering, something that is of generational impact, a generational history maker. Everybody wants to be associated with it. So quit crying, hey, nobody's there for me. Nobody, come on. That's what kids do. That's what kids do. Learn to pick yourself up. Failure is part of your journey. Being abandoned, being rejected, being followed from afar is part of the journey. If you have never experienced loneliness in your difficult moment, your journey has not started. One of the things I've learned myself is It's so lonely at the top, really, because you see people sitting in the office there. It can get lonely sitting and plotting what happens next. It gets so lonely. But you can't cry and cry and cry and cry. No one's coming to save you. You have to pick yourself up. You have to get rest. Do all that is in your heart to do. Listen, let me say this to you quickly. If you are 30 years old, the word of no man, there's no man in your life, there's nobody in your life that the word is cast on stone. No, there's nobody. If you're 30, in fact, if you're 20 something, your late 20s, in your mid 20s, late 20s, there's nobody that their word, nobody in life that their word is cast on stone for you. No, because at the end, it is your failure. What you have is an illusion of people promising to carry you. What you have is an illusion of people saying, I will be there when you fail. But only very few, if there is any, will come to your aid and be in the dust and be in the mud and be in the mud and be in the trenches with you. If you fall down to the trenches, if you have fallen down to the trenches, you will find out that in those trenches you are lonely there. You are alone. People will follow you from afar if you are down in the trenches. So do all that is in your heart to do. Fail your failure. That's the truth. Learn your lessons. Learn your lessons. Learn it. Move on. And number seven that I have learned from highly successful people, people of value, number seven lesson I have learned is this: put your family first. I left that for the last. Put your family first. Beyond all expectations, beyond all opinions of people, beyond what people think, your family comes first. And this idea that your family is not to be trusted, come on. This religious concept that your family is there to pull you down. I've never seen a worse lie than that. This religious idea that you cannot trust your family you grew up with for almost 20, 30 years, but you can trust a religious leader that you just met for 2 years. You can trust him with all of your heart, all of your finances, all of your secrets. You can, but you cannot entrust anything of value in your life with your family. No. And again, make our time to spend time and play with your family. Don't take life too serious. With your family, don't take life too serious. Laugh, make jokes. The moments matter. The moments go so fast. If you can make out time to laugh and enjoy the little you have right now, you won't make out time when you have so much because it wouldn't make a difference. In fact, it has proven, research has proven that no matter the amount of money people that are after a certain amount of money that people make, money no longer contributes to what makes them happy. Money makes people happy. Money buys happiness, but after a certain amount you have made, I think about I think it's about $100,000 or so, or $50,000 or so. After that, it doesn't make you extra happy. Little things of life. Spend time with your family. Relax with your family. It is beautiful. There is inspiration in the time of rest. There's inspiration in family time. There's inspiration in playing with your listen, I could tell you wholeheartedly. If you're among those people, those hardworking men, those hardworking women who make out time to spend time with their family, with their children, I could tell you, you are one of the luckiest souls on earth. You are one of the luckiest souls on earth. In fact, your chances of success is great. So I make bold to tell you, from all the people I have conversation with, it is expedient, it's important that you learn to put your family first. Put your family, put your health first. If your family and your health are okay, I can tell you that your life can move fast, can move better. You can progress better. Many have lost almost 7 years of their life trying to balance their life after a family wreck, after not focus, after family problem. Many have lost 7, 10 years of their life trying to fix themselves together. So I can tell you, take time, make out time for your family. It's important. And now, if you're Nigerian, as I round up, I want to say to you, I want to tell you something I have learned. This is only to Nigerians. Now, if you're Nigerian, oh my, Nigeria, Nigeria, my country. Oh my. And this is coming directly from my friend, and I was inspired by that conversation. You cannot hold Nigerian politicians accountable on the grounds of religious moral high grounds because it does not exist. You cannot hold Nigerian politicians accountable on the grounds of religious moral higher grounds. Moral high grounds. You cannot hold Nigerian politicians accountable on the grounds of religious moral high ground. No. And it's because even their religious leaders encourage them to steal, encourage them to do what they do. So if you're just joining, I encourage you to rewind a little back and get the 7 lessons I have learned from high flying people that I've interviewed here on the conversation. Thank you for being part of the conversation today. I hope that you have learned a couple of things. And I know I'm going to see you at the top. That's the truth. I believe that everybody who participates on this conversation, who's been participating, who's been coming in, making comments and asking questions, you are settled and you are going up for success. You are bound to be great. You're bound for greatness. You're bound to the top. You're bound to get to the top. So thank you for being part of the conversation today. I see you next week with another wonderful guest, and I know it's going to be super, super great. See you and have a wonderful evening.